Good morning. Welcome to ATI Pro Media Premium Content. Well, this isn't premium. Jeez, my knee. Okay. It's live at 9. Welcome to today's show, guys. All right. We got a WASD report today. Big day. Got Powell talking to the Senate. We're going to talk about weather, little weather maps for you, talking about snowfall in the Midwest and here in Kansas, buckling up for a winter storm. South America planting, going to look at cattle markets. Who knows where we're going to go? I have no idea. But first, let's go look at your markets. Corn market overnight, 495 on March corn up 3.5 cents. March beans up 2 3/4 at 10.52 1/4. Oil's up 40 points. Meal is relatively unchanged right now at 308.50. Looking over at your wheat market, Chicago wheat up 6 cents, 585.5. March KC wheat up 3 3/4 cents at $6.50, almost even $6 even, $6.50. July KC wheat is 620.5, up 4 cents. Looking over your feeder cattle, that's the sad trombone. Ugly right now. March feeders down 440 on the board, 263.725, and your live cattle down 277. The definitely rolling over here on Tuesday in your feeder cattle market. Lean hogs up 65 points. Crude oil is up almost $1. Diesel's up 4 cents. Nat gas up 8 cents. Energy markets are on fire. And over in your equity market, the Dow is down 90, the S&P down 10, the NASDAQ down 36. Quick look over at Bitcoin, 97,470 down 210. Bring my friend in, Connor B. Let's dive into the show and talk about headlines.
Let's do it. Talk about a USDA report. I feel like every year it sneaks up on me, right? We get that the all eyes are on that January WASD. It's like,
yeah.
And then I start looking at March option expiration. It's still a couple weeks out. And it's like, oh, we've got the Fed WASD. I completely forgot about it, but it's going to be interesting. It'd be nice to see, that March corn. We haven't broke through that kind of cycle. I'm going to say psychological, that $5 level. If we get some bullish news, right, it'd be nice to break through that. But it's the USDA. We can hope all we want, but who knows what type of numbers we're going to see.
Yep, definitely. It does sneak up on you. But yeah, $5, be great to see that today. So that reports out at 11 a.m. Central time. We'll be live for that. What are we going to start? 10:45-ish time frame. Go live to cover the report drop, break down the price action. And then afterwards, 1:30, we're going to have the A team come on. They'll do the deep dive, break down all the key talking points, what they changed, and dig into the details a little better. We got Nate Draco, Brian Basting, and Jeremy Struber going to break down on the afternoon deal.
Good stuff. Looking at the numbers real quick. No, I mean, we're not going to deep dive them in here, but I don't know. In terms of surprises, Brady, it could come from anywhere. But I guess I'm going to be looking at that Brazil soybean number. I think that's the main one I'll be focused on. Obviously, we could change it. We could see a change in carry out from any of the commodities. But I think I'm going to be looking at Brazil soybean, right? Are we going to see that bump up, or are they going to hold it steady? What are they going to do with that?
Wasn't it a surprise last month that they left it unchanged or a relatively small adjustment? So will they catch us off guard here and revise it up? Everybody's looking for it in January, an upward revision. Will it come?
Exactly. And that top end, right? That 172 at the top end of the range, that's a healthy number. But again, those analysts range, right? We could talk about how often we're inside the analysts range of expectations versus how often we're outside those, right? It's good to see where they're at, but my gosh, we can be outside those ranges as much as we're inside them.
Yep, it's a crapshoot. You never know where it's going to land. And then you never know how the market's going to react. What's the market looking for? We've had a nice run here in the grain since the fall. And will we continue is there room to continue higher? I don't know. The guy can hope, but we'll see how they react today, what numbers get printed.
Yep.
Other thing going on here this week, Jerome Powell's going to be talking to the Senate and the Congress. I think he's talking to the Senate today, Connor, and the Congress tomorrow. There's going to be lots of digging into his words, how he says things, his thoughts on the current administration's policies, how that will impact inflation and monetary policy going forward. any clues as to rate type stuff. I think it's getting more and more. It seems to be a growing feeling that there's going to be less of a rate hike, and we may continue to kick that can or rate cut, and that rates will stay steady a little bit longer here. Also, immigration, deportation, some of that stuff, the labor force, how that impacts the whole economy. So, going to be interesting. Going to be lots of headlines that come out of that as Powell talks to the Senate and Congress today, Connor.
Yeah, I wonder if we could sum it up, right? Who knows what he's going to say, but I wonder if we could sum up that he's going to have that wait and see approach, right? We're not sure. I don't think Jerome Powell has any idea how the next month is going to go with the Trump administration better than any of the rest of us. So I wonder if that's kind of the rhetoric we'll hear, but right, we'll see.
My guess is we'll see a Jerome Powell needs to be fired headline by the end of the week from somebody. that would be my guess of what we'll see out of that meeting. He's gone. He's terrible. He's a terrible person.
Oh man. Well, moving right along, let's look at we got CONAB planning progress, harvest progress out, and so we're catching up. We're still behind, but looking at Brazil soybean harvest progress last week, they were at just under 15%, 14.8% to be exact. Last year, they were 20%. So that it's getting a little tighter, right? They've had opportunities to move forward. And then that corn, that safrinha corn crop, that second corn crop planting is at 19%, 18.8%. And then last year we were at closer to 32. So we're still behind last year. We're still behind that 5-year average. But we're catching up, right? It's moving quicker. You and I said we're not going to get bullish because of a planning delay. I still hold that, right? It still feels like that window is still open, but time will tell, right? We'll see. But continue to truck along significantly behind last year, especially on the corn planting. But they're catching up, and they're catching up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a nice little tailwind for the Bulls. That story is. If that changes, though, that's the watch out. If we catch up and we make up some ground and have a good week to get caught up on that planning pace, that could change the game and diminish that tailwind there for the Bulls. So watch out. Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at Mato Grosso, that's their. If you wanted to draw comparisons to the Midwest, right? That's their Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, right? That's their big producing area. And their last year, soybean harvest, they were 45%.
Okay.
And then this week they're at 28%. So behind. Then looking at corn planting in Mato Grosso, they were almost 50% planted last year. Right now they're closer to 20%. So still significantly behind, but we'll have to look at some weather maps and see what their window of opportunity is if they can make a lot of progress in the next couple weeks.
Do you still have that clip that we rolled that week or so ago of the combine and the planter going? That makes me think of when Mato Grosso, I think it's about like the size of 5 or 6 Iowas, and a huge percentage of that safrinha corn crop goes in Mato Grosso. So key state there to watch that planting progress of safrinha corn production. But we've got it out of there. That was a good one. But anyway, if you missed it, there was a combine, grain carts. There was like these, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these massive machines out there, and then they had a planter right behind the machine, putting in the crop.
Unbelievable operation. Right.
Love to pull that in.
They weren't moving. They weren't moving very fast. It was a ton of equipment. They weren't moving very fast though, which was interesting. But yeah, we'll have to.
They might only have one driver for all of those machines. See if you can pull that in for the 11 o'clock deal. That'd be fun to play a clip of again. But speaking of fun, snow coming. If you're a cattle guy, snow's not real fun because it's a lot of work, and if you're calving, scooping bunks, anything. But we got some snow coming. The kids might be excited about it. They backed off the forecast here in Kansas a little bit here this morning, 2 to 5, 6 inches for a lot of the heart of Kansas looking. It was in the 4 to 8 for a while, but they've backed that off here. We'll see what comes to fruition, but be interesting to see what type of snow is supposed to start tonight for us. And then you guys, I think, are a couple days behind us to get another slug of it. And look at the map for you guys, which you got to take these with a grain of salt. You never know how accurate they are with precipitation, let alone when you make it times tenfold with snow. But there's some big totals out there, Connor.
Yeah, there is. I'm looking at old Joe Grasaffi up there in Indiana. He's looking like he's going to get a bunch. I'm in the 5 to 6 inches range right there in Central Illinois. So
Okay.
it is
Uh,
what it is. We feels like we just got all the snow melted off here.
Oh gosh, Joe, you better go to the store, get your bread and eggs and your milk, and get loaded up for the week.
Maybe not eggs, right? I saw an unbelievable. We got a shortage, but I saw a chart and it was the price of an Arizona sweet tea versus the price of eggs going back to the 90s. I need to find that and pull it in because it was hilarious. You know, at one point the price of a dozen eggs was less than an Arizona sweet tea, right? Just 25, 30 years ago. And now it's not even comparable because Arizona, if you don't know, Brady, Arizona, they've been good about keeping their prices constant, right? It's been 99 cents for 25 years. So
Yeah.
There's some hard hitting.
That's the famous Arizona brand tea that's just steady Eddie. A dollar, cost you $1. All right, cool.
I'm gonna pull that in. That'd be a good one.
And the price of eggs, definitely a big deal out there. And if you are in the poultry business, we're definitely not making fun of that situation because that's devastating if you're a producer out there for sure. But yeah, right. On the cattle front, Connor B, starting to see maybe a little more sellers than buyers out there. Cattle taking a little pressure here today. Show lists are ticking up. The cutout is down 850 versus a week ago. And cash is called steady here, steady to lower this week. Maybe we'll see what develops later in the week. Cash trade is definitely going to develop later this week, but it feels like the Packers may be more in the driver's seat as there's more on the show list here this week. The 5 area average steer price was down 252 versus a week prior at 207 here Monday. And futures, Fed futures are under $2, 199. So $8 basis there, which is great if you're a hedger. If you're hedged and you see that basis gain, you're gaining a really strong position. Maybe that's why you're seeing a good show list there, is you got cattle hedged up in a good spot and you're ready to move them. But we will see. That's the cattle update. Connor, what'd you do? You had a premium yesterday. Let's talk about your premium.
We talked crop insurance, right? It's that time of year. And so I just wanted to, a lot of times we look at crop insurance, in a bubble. And so, I try and look at it if it's a part of our marketing plan, let's make sure we know where our floor is and how it changes throughout the year, right? It's gonna vary depending on what we kind of have an idea of what our yield is relative to our APH, and just walking through that math. It was nothing fancy. But the other thing I want to talk about is just looking at ARC versus PLC, right? I'm going to do a quick breakdown on that, but I'd love to know what anyone's taking, right? Are we going ARC this year, PLC? What makes more sense, corn, soybeans for you?
That's that time of year. I think you got a few weeks to decide on that decision yet, but we're talking about that time of year good stuff, Connor. That'll be great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We'll be back here in an hour and a half. So let's hit the phones and knock some things out, and we'll see everyone back here real soon.
Okay. All right. Make sure you set those clocks. And that reminder, 10:45, we'll be back on live here to cover that February WASDE report drop. We'll see you guys back then.
See you.
Until then, see you.